Yo, what's up, fantastic family and friends? It's your boy, Mr. Dominique, aka the Scorpio King, and I am back with part 2 of my video, Why We Are So Rebellious. Okay, I finished part 1, and I knew I wasn't going to get it all in on part 1, and I'm back with part 2. This one will not be as long as the first video. Let me chop this up. Okay, so listen. Why we are so rebellious. I gave you many different reasons why in video 1. Let me give you 2 more examples of why we are so rebellious. Okay, in American history, and you can go check this out yourself, but from what I came across, being rebellious is a part of the American character. If the colonies hadn't been rebellious enough to rebel against England, there would be no United States. Okay. Again, another example of human beings being rebellious for the right reasons. Okay. And reason number 2. Okay. There is a big fancy word called psychological reactance. Okay. Now we're getting fancy, but this is the last example I'm going to give you. There's a big, fancy, pretty, doctor-sounding word out there. Well-educated word out there. Psychological reactance. Look it up. The meaning of that is it's your brain's reaction when you feel a threat to your freedom or think your choices are being limited. When your brain feels a threat to its freedom, or you think your choices are being limited, you have a psychological reactance. That's the terminology given for rebellion. I looked this up, y'all. You can do it too, baby. That's the big, fancy, well-educated word given for rebellion. I didn't even know it was a word for that. Not a fancy one anyway. But it is psychological reactance, which means they break this down not only biblically, spiritually, within literature books, all sorts of people throughout American history or throughout our world history, but going down into your brain, inside, biologically, terminology now, going into your brain and saying that they figured it out. Rebellion, fancy way, psychological reactance. It is your brain's reaction when you feel a threat to your freedom or you think your choices are being limited. When you have this feeling, you will rebel. So, let me end my rebellion video with this, especially for my spiritual brother who asked me to do this video. Okay? We as a people, as a human being, the human experience, the flesh, the bones, the human, just as sure as it is in us to sin, it seems as though it is in us to rebel. How each human chooses to sin, that is his or her choice. Whether or not we rebel, that is his or her choice. Depending on the reasons why, depending on what we are rebelling for, rebelling against, there's so much that goes into it. I thank you so much for asking me to look that up, because I never would have knew some of this stuff had I not searched it up and looked into why are we rebellious as a human being, because we are. But look what rebellion has done for us. It has done a lot of great things for us, but if rebellion unchecked and out of control, it can do a lot of bad things too. You don't want to rebel out of envy, hate, bitterness, anger, frustration, and jealousy. That's what Satan did. That's what he did. You don't want to do that. You don't want to rebel just because you're trying to be defiant and it gets you in trouble. That's what happened to Adam and Eve. You don't want to go through that. People who break the law rebel against the laws that we have to live by on a day-to-day basis. You rebel against those laws. You will pay some time. Do the crime, pay the time. You break the law. You rebel against the law, you will get in trouble for that. So rebelling for the wrong reasons can get you in a lot of trouble. But if you rebel like Robin Hood did against the rich and the tyranny, that's another story. You rebel like Dr. King did against segregation and prejudice, that's another story. You rebel like Rosa Parks did and not give her seat up, stand up for not only being black but being a woman, that's another story. Okay? There's so many reasons for us to rebel, but clearly it is in us to do it. We all have it in us. We all have it. For whether we want to rebel because of what the scholars say, or because of how it is related to being a rebel within the Bible, the spiritual realm, or because it's psychological reactance, it is in us to rebel. Okay, so I hope I answered your question, my spiritual brother. And I hope I answered this for anybody that was listening. We are rebellious by nature, okay? If you like what you hear, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for all notifications, like and share these videos. Anybody out there, if you got something you want me to chop up with you, feel free to drop it in the comments. And if I can, when I get the time, I am all over it. Peace, one love. I love you. Stay positive. Keep the vibrations up. And be safe. And hey, keep that rebel inside you in check. You control the rebel in you because you are in control. All right. Thank you.